Mark Naia, born and raised here on Kauai, never left. I have been involved in many different types of businesses. The last place I was employed was at the Wilcox Hospital as a network engineer. I was the guy that took care of the computers, took care of the networks, built things from the ground up, including servers. I was also in charge of security there and programming and a whole slew of other things that I did while I was there. So when KIC was starting to announce this rollout of their smart meters, I was shocked to see that they were even considering it. Unbeknownst to me at the time that they had already signed contracts for it 2 years prior. Contracts for the smart meter rollout had already been a done deal since 2008. And that was unbeknownst to me at the time. It was just last time I thought, there's no way that they're going to roll this out. There's just so much data on how bad these pieces of equipment are. There's scientific study after study after study, 5,000 of them, medical studies. Even just last May, the World Health Organization and the International Institute for Cancer Research, IARC, had put out the call that they've now placed microwave radiation frequency that smart meters emit on the class 2B carcinogen list. They wanted to list it higher, but because of a lot of pressure from the wireless industry, and understand the wireless industry is a $1.2 trillion industry. They got lots of money, so they can put a lot of pressure on these individual scientists if they want to. So the World Health Organization, when they released it as a class 2B. Now, class 2B carcinogen means that they suspect that it causes cancer, but we just don't know what the actual effect of that energy is causing it or how it's causing it. That's what the class 2B is. Other items on that class 2B list is DDT. We know it causes cancer. Nobody doubts that, even though they can't know of the actual agent that's causing it, but DDT causes cancer. Another one on that list is lead. We all know lead causes major problems in developmental children and adults. There's still an ongoing problem with lead poisoning. Asbestos was on that list. It's been jumped up even higher now. Now, all of these carcinogens had at one time been touted as safe by the industries that use them, even though there was medical science stating that these things are dangerous. But because they were not industry science, or there's a new term I just learned about a month ago, called checkbook science, which I find to be extremely descriptive of what the industry does. That all of these carcinogens were placed in homes and schools and public places with the knowledge that we thought was safe, but they weren't. DDT was heavily used, lead was heavily used. Asbestos, everybody used asbestos. Even in all our schools had to be cleaned of asbestos once they found out how particularly dangerous this was. And now we're here with smart meters and microwave radiation. Smart meter itself, the technology it's using, microwave radiation that's being emitted by the antennas of these meters, has been known to have physical effects since 1992. The EPA, when it was still its own agency and had their own testing laboratories, in 1992 did a study on microwave radiations and cell phones. And they had over 50 studies that they pulled from. And what the scientists and doctors found at the EPA was that microwave radiation, when it was used heavily, and in their aspect of heavy use, it was 30 minutes per day continuously over a long period of time, over a year, that it raised the risk of cancer by 40%. They knew that, they reported it, put it on their desks. of their supervisors and then went to the White House with it. And they were going to go public with this study, 1992. The story is the industry lobbyists got a word of it and shut it down. That report was never really published. The scientists were told that if they wish to keep their jobs and reputations, they need to put this back on the shelf, which they did. Right after that, EPA was stripped of most of its laboratory facilities. So they no longer had the facilities to do such testing. They got their teeth pulled by the industry again, most likely. When the Landis+Gyr executives were questioned by the California PUC, by a judge, saying, okay, how many times a day is this thing transmitting? Because there's all of this information out there saying all of this conflicting things. Some electric companies say only 8 times a day. Some others say only 4 times an hour. What is it? What's the real fact of the matter? And the matter of fact that the executives came back shocked everybody. Minimum, on average, 10,000 times per day. On the high side of it, 190,000 times per day of pulsed microwave frequency. That's 7 times per minute to 130 times per minute. You will be zapped with microwave radiation pulsed energy. It may be very, very small, but they add up. That's the problem with microwave energy. It's additive. Like UV radiation that you stand in the sun. Over time, that is additive. The damage it does is permanent. It's not something where you get out of it and you heal yourself and it gets all better. No, this is all additive. It's very, very dangerous to not just us, but it's also dangerous to the whole environment itself. There are countless pictures on the internet where you can see where a smart meter has been installed and all of the plants around it die because they're being microwaved 24/7. There's a test that you can do. It's a children's test. What does microwave energy do to anything? A father was questioned by his daughter, is microwave energy dangerous? And dad said, no, it's not. But they said it was. I heard somebody say that if you microwave water and give it to a plant, it'll kill the plant. And the dad said, no, it won't. Let's do this test. And they did. And within 30 days, that plant was dead. The test plant that had been fed on microwave water was fine. Understand that microwave energy at that frequency changes things down at the molecular level. That's the big problem. And when it changes those things at the molecular level, it changes how life works with those things at the molecular level. Your home will now be filled with a constant impulse of microwave frequency energy. So it's not just affecting you. You got to think of it in a broader sense. It's affecting all of the food you have in your house and changing it at the molecular level. It's affecting the water that you're drinking in your house and changing it at the molecular level. It's affecting all of your drugs in your house, that people that have certain drugs that they need to take for their health. Those drugs and chemicals are being changed at the molecular level. Smart meters do not have any defined parameters of what they won't affect. Microwave radiation will affect all of it. There's a doctor in Australia that wrote a really, really good letter that she's had to stop her practice because of smart meters. And wherever she goes, she's so affected by it that she is now incapable of working. Oh. And she has to look for areas that there aren't any smart meters before she can even begin to start to be normal again. Mm. And it's completely ruined her life and her practice.
Well, what do our bodies run on?
What do you mean?
What do our bodies run on? How do our bodies electrical impulse?
Electrical light impulses. That's the major information that they know for a fact that our bodies are electrical in nature, but that electricity is more in a photon-like format and a frequency, and that it's very, very susceptible to radio frequencies of a certain high levels, because it's very, very disruptive. And when you get the disruptiveness of microwave energy and high level frequencies and the power switching supply all at the same time, all of your physical senses are now being affected in ways that people on Kauai are just seeing. I had one lady I talked to today, smart meter was installed 3 days ago. She's been having headaches. She has, her and her husband, headaches, tinnitus, back pain, neck pain, and just overall not sleeping well. And they couldn't figure out what it was. And then she thought, wait a minute, we just had a smart meter installed. Oh my God, it's a smart meter. But she doesn't know anything about it. What it'll do? She went online and started to type and do searches for it, and came across stopkiuc.com. Found out all the information she needed to do, gave me a call and said, what can I do? Call KIUC, remove that meter immediately. Yes.
You talked about microwave and you talked about RF.
Mm-hmm.
Is it microwave going through the air and then RF's going through the copper wire?
Actually, the microwave is being emitted by the antennas within the smart meters themselves. So that's a high level frequency radiation.
Through space, through air?
Through everything. Through space,
oh,
through your
through
walls,
all molecules?
Through most molecules, because that's why they're called microwaves.
Okay.
Radio frequency waves can run anywhere from a few thousand yards long to microwave levels, which are only millimeters wide.
And so when you talk about the wiring in your house being an antenna,
yes,
it's emanating out of there.
It's radio frequency from all of the wires within your house.
Okay, so the microwave is coming out of the antenna in the box,
yes,
and the RF is coming
throughout everything in your house. Every wire in your house is radiating RF.
And microwave is higher frequency.
Microwaves are much, much higher and much more damaging. But RF also causes problems with memory, causes problems with health, causes problems with movement, causes problems with inflammation, because you're continuously being bombarded by it from the whole wiring system of your home. So, you know, you're getting it from the antennas, you're getting it from your own home, because your home wiring was never meant to carry a radio frequency signal. Another thing that I want to bring up to give you an idea of what being within a microwave radiation field can do. One of the big things that it does is disorientation. It messes up your electrical systems. And an example I can give you, which was a known fact since 1950. Right after World War II, Britain and America had just begun the Cold War with Russia. They were extremely afraid of the juggernaut that Russia had in their army of planes coming over and trying to take over Europe. So they wanted to develop the strongest radar they could to have the earliest warning system that they could. And what they were testing out at the time in the 1950s was microwave radar equipment in the 900 megahertz range. Same as your wireless phones at home. What did they find when they did the testing of this new equipment? They were running it side by side with their old equipment to see how much further out they could see with the new equipment. The old equipment would show all the dots in the sky, birds that were flying around at the time. As soon as they fired up the new equipment and sent out a pulse of microwave energy, all the dots disappeared. And within hours, they were being called by veterinarians throughout the country saying, why do we have 1,000 dead birds on the ground? Documented. And every time they tested this technology out, the same thing would happen. They'd end up with dead birds on the ground. The other thing that they noticed was all of the migratory birds in Britain at the time that would fly between 5,000 and 10,000 feet above Britain, and they would circle to get their orientation before they migrated south. Whenever they tested out this new technology and they hit the button to do a pulse, the flock would just separate in all directions and not regroup, because the energy frequency would disrupt their ability to navigate. This is known from 1950, so they knew this. So they came up with guidelines to protect the workers on these towers from being fried by microwave energy, 1950. These guidelines were slightly updated in 1992, I think, or 96, by the FCC and the IEEE, International Electrical Engineers something, and also ANSI. And they all decided that, yeah, those safeguards are good for people because of what was going on within the cellular industry. So they took those thermal safeguards, only thermal, meaning you're not going to get burned by it. Never mind all the other biological damages that can happen, but you won't get burned by it. That's the main thing. And passed that as their safety standard. It's not a health standard, it's a safety standard. It's a safety, actually they say it's a safety guideline, which practically means nothing. Totally ignoring the non-thermal effects of microwave energy. What has happened with the shear waters on Kauai? As I was growing up throughout my years here, football was always done on Friday night. There'd be lights up, we'd have shear waters fly around, a few of them would land, they'd be picked up, taken away, and they'd take off the next day. In 1992, I believe, or 1991, the first cell tower went up. Frequency range, 900 megahertz. Shear waters were okay up until that point. Between 1992 and 1999, there was a huge dive in shear water population, unexplained. Scientists couldn't find out why this dive was happening. It wasn't biological, they couldn't find what's going on. They weren't finding dead birds. They weren't finding anything other than there was much less bird count that they were doing. So basically, they decided it was the lights, even though there was no evidence whatsoever that lights were causing all of this shear water deaths. And I thought, this is insane. Why are they looking at lights for? It's been there for as long as I can remember. Over 30 years of football lights, of hotel lights, and nothing's ever changed with their numbers until just now. And nobody ever connected those dots. The industry didn't want you to connect the dots on them. That's way too much money for them. And as time went on throughout the 90s, more and more and more of these cell phone towers went in that emit microwave energy that is disruptive to flight patterns and migratory patterns of birds, very disruptive. By 2000, they've passed new ordinances to mess with our lights so that we can save the shear waters, which will do nothing to save the shear waters because the underlying problem is not the lights. The underlying problem is microwave radiation. A few years ago, this happened in Lihue, where we were living. I think it was like about 2007 or so. Lived there for 13 years. Always had a huge amount of sparrows, cardinals, and birds every morning wake us up. Before the sun comes up, they would start their chorus. It was very loud. When you have a lot of them, they can be extremely loud. And then one day the noise stopped. There were no birds anymore. I couldn't figure out why. And I pointed out to my wife, what's going on? Where's all that chorus that we're so used to? We've heard it for 6 years or 7 years now in Lihue. They're already that long. And there was no sound outside. And for the longest time, that didn't come back. And my head is looking for the dots. Now I know.
Was it the cell phones?
New
Cell towers?
New tower went up. And when they tested it out, they all disappeared.
Oh.
Whether or not they died or they were driven away, I don't know, because I never really saw any bodies anywhere, a few here and there, but we have that anyway. But all of them just disappeared. It was just eerie, the silence. You can Google the internet for bird deaths, unexplained bird deaths, and you will come across hundreds of them across the nation, where they've had crows fall on the sky dead, they've had bluebirds fall on the sky dead. No explanation was ever given for it. Why? There's a $1.2 trillion industry behind it that doesn't want an explanation. So they blame, maybe it was a parasite, maybe it was a cold front, maybe it was a lightning strike. And the real reason why any of this is happening, if you do some research, was there a new 4G cell tower put in place in that area? Was there a new cell tower put in place in that area? Was there a new 3G or 4G cell tower put in that area? Nobody looks at connecting those dots to the bird deaths because they don't want you to know that microwave energy is bad for you, especially at super high frequencies that 4G is. And the reason they say 4G, that's 4,000 megahertz or 4 gigahertz, which is the highest you can get before you get into infrared energy itself, the very highest end of the RF frequency spectrum.
Would you say that again? Say that again about 4G.
4G is about as high as you can get before you start to get into infrared radiation. Does your daughter have a question?
Well, I want to tell you that we at my school, Kilauea School, there was these, you know, those birds that have red heads.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a whole bunch of those at my school, but the whole entire feathers of the bodies were actually 100% red, and they were all bright red, all the feathers on it, and we used to have them flying around and at my school, and then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of them started. I kept finding dead of those birds all over my school, and feathers all over too. All over, even like I found like 1 or 2 in my garden plot, but it was at my school because we do gardening there.
So that could be one of that. Literally is one of these side effects of radiation. By standing up, by saying no, you completely short circuit the whole thing.
Clean up your
And
own
all it
backyard.
takes is one person to stand up and say no. That's all it takes. And then others notice it. And now you have this whole ripple effect going outwards because one person touches another person, touches another person. My sister-in-law alone has touched hundreds of people with this. Just one person has touched hundreds. So even though you may only communicate the information to one person, you don't know how many people that person is going to touch. And that's the power that we have right now by just standing up and saying no and presenting the actual facts to the public.